Quarantine is really getting into me, guys. So yeah. Let's do this. Okay, let's start with drawing the outline of the mask. And before we really dive right into it, hi dudes, welcome back. And if you're new here, hey, what's up? It's Wordsy, and thanks for stopping by. And yeah, let's waste our time together this quarantine. By the way, dudes, what I'm using right now for the mask outline is a teeny tiny pointed brush and a white paint. Okay, so I think I'm done with the outline, so I'm gonna go and paint my face with the base color. So I want to start off at the top part of the mask. By the way, dudes, the palette that I'm going to use for this face art looks something like this, and I created these shades by mixing these Graftobian Pro paints. So the shade that I'm using for the top part of the mask is this. So I'm just drawing a padding and kind of like the top part border of a face mask. The brush that I'm using is a flat brush like this, so I can paint the edges easier since the edges needs to be square. After that, I am going in with this color right here with the same brush to paint the base color of the mask. So I'm just gonna fill in the outline, but I want to leave the side borders unpainted. We'll work with that later. Then I want to use this dark bluish shade right up in here and some white paint to draw the folds of the mask. So I'm using a teeny tiny pointed brush just like what we used on drawing the outline, and I will draw some concave lines starting at the bottom of the mask padding and work my way down to my chin area. Now I'm gonna go and blend those lines with the base color to create a shade effect. The brush that I'm using for this step looks like this, and it looks more like an eyeshadow blending brush, and it works well with blending paints too. So here I am just going back and forth with adding some shades on the areas that needs more shade and, you know, just kind of blending everything even more. Then I'm going to use this shade right here to lighten the shades a little bit and to make it look more blended on the base color. I am trying not to alter the dark shade that we applied earlier completely so that it will look more like an ombre and more like shadow. After that, I am going to fill in the last fold of the mask with the same shade to create a shadow effect on my chin area. And yeah, sometimes I want to go back and forth to some areas. Actually, not sometimes, more like most of the time. So yeah, I'm just going back to some areas to retouch and correct something. Moving on to the side borders. So using the darkest color that we used for shading, I'm just drawing a line to separate the front of the mask to its side borders. Then I'm just gonna fill it in with the light bluish shade that I also used to fill the top border of the mask. After that, I want to extend the folds on the side borders and blend it just like what I did on the previous folds that I've drawn. Just correcting the shades here with just adding some highlights and shadows and just adding some little details on the sides. Okay, now we can proceed on drawing those little squares that looks like the stitches of the mask. And actually, I don't really know what is the proper word to call it, but you already know what I mean. And yeah, my camera just decided to stop recording.
Bruh.
Great. Continue. So I'm just drawing these little squares on the padding area of the mask. It doesn't need to be perfect because we will do something later to make it look presentable. For this one, I used a dark blue eyeshadow, which is so wrong, like super wrong, like the color is so off as you can see. I tried patting some white eyeshadow on top of it to lighten the color, but it's not enough. So I just continued using it because it was around 3 AM when I did this face art, so I was like in a hurry to finish it so I can still get some sleep because I gotta work tomorrow, so yeah. So let's move on to the trick that will make these blue lines more rectangular. So I'm using the same color with the padding, and I'm using a thin brush, and I'm just swiping it on the sides of the lines to clean the edges. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the side borders, but this time I'm using the darkest color on the paint to draw the lines. I don't know what I'm thinking, but why did I fill in the lines on top of the padding to alter the dark blue eyeshadow color? I just don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever, we can take it back. Let's just move on. So now I'm using a taupish brown eyeshadow color, and I'm adding some shadows on the outer part of the mask to separate the mask to my skin. Then I'm going to draw 2 white lines on each side that will serve as the ear loop of the mask. And shading it as well with a brown eyeshadow. And just going back to some parts, just really making sure that everything is nice and blended. I just repeated these steps on the other side of my cheek, and dude, we're done. That's all, dudes. I hope y'all enjoyed this video as much as I did while creating this whole thing. Tap that like button if you like this video. Thank you so much. I upload random videos like anything under the sun or moon. So if you want to know what's next, hit that subscribe button so you'll get notified of all my nonsense videos. I would love to know your thoughts about this video, so just leave a comment down below. Thank you all so much. Thanks for stopping by, really appreciate it. And always remember, dudes, you are beautiful no matter what they say. Stay safe, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.